already did that. Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll pull you in, okay?
Sorry.
All right, no worries. 3, 2. Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Family Reflections. I'm Keddy, and
I'm Kino.
I'm
And-
Gabrielle.
hey, there we go. We're in the studio today with Gabrielle Leos. I know I'm one of the few people she's ever heard who said that last name right, but
Correct.
But yeah, we're glad to be in here again today, and we're gonna be talking about something that is often taboo for no reason. But I'm glad that we're in here. We're gonna be talking a little bit about sexual health. And Gabrielle, can you tell the listeners a little bit about your work in this field, how you kind of got into this?
Yeah, of course. So a couple years ago, I started my career as a HIV medical case manager for a nonprofit, and we worked primarily only with the HIV population. But during that time, of course, I met community agencies that were also doing outreach in the community for STDs and testing. So I worked with sex workers and was able to just educate the community, especially the Black community, on safe sex practices because it is needed. So that's kind of how I got into sexual health.
What was the thing that made you want to even start or like start helping out that nonprofit and actually take that first step?
A lot of things. Some I don't want to say, but
Okay.
It was personal. Well, things had happened, not me in particular, but just people that I knew in my life that was affected by HIV. And I felt like I wanted to, in a way, help with the barriers that they were receiving to care. And also I felt like it was a need for me to like be a voice for for a population that was vulnerable at the time. And there's a lot of stigma attached to HIV. So I felt like me learning about it and just giving me more of a like a way for me to learn more about what I could do as an advocate to help them. So that's kind of how I got into it, because of a personal experience with a loved one.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I, as a little kid, I was terrified of HIV. Like HIV was the big bad wolf, right? I remember there was one point in my life where I was living in Castries, right? And for listeners who aren't Lucia, and that is the capital city of St. Lucia. And there was a lady in the house next to us that was dying of AIDS, right? And I was terrified because I felt like if I breathed in that direction, or if I cut myself in the area or something, I had the most dumb, ridiculous fears. But it was real. Like, yo, I was on
You had
edge.
a lot of fear from ignorance.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what it is. Lack of education. Most people are just not educated about HIV, and they don't realize that that it's a disease that you have to, it's fluids, it's bodily fluids, and that's the only way that you can get it. Well, bodily fluids, needles, breast milk. So those are just some of the ways that you can get HIV. So by hugging someone, I would tell my clients all the time, their family would come in and be like, hey, if we use the same toothbrush, can I get it? I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. Hugging someone, kissing someone, you can't get HIV like that.
Let's dial back a bit, because I'm hearing us discussing your sexual health and talking about HIV. It seems that we've gone ahead. For the listeners that are there and may not know what the term exactly means, what exactly is sexual health?
Sexual health. Kina asked about sexual health. It's more than just STDs and HIV. It has to do with your reproductive health. It has to do with your relationship with your intimate partner. It has to do with your physical, emotional, and your mental reaction to sexuality. So it's just much more than just diseases. It's more about your relationship to your sexuality. as
Right.
far as,
Right.
yeah, your physical, mental, all of those are part of sexual health.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think before people can even begin to seriously consider their sexual health, they first have to be comfortable talking about it, right?
Exactly.
So where does the taboo surrounding sex come from? Why are people afraid to talk about sex?
So I feel like sex is a topic that's not accepted. It's not something that we easily can talk about so freely. And I feel like it has a lot to do with our upbringing. Um, a lot of us were taught that sex was dirty, it was shameful, embarrassing, it's something that you don't talk about as a child. So when you grow up, it does affect you as an adult. And some people hold on to those notions about sex. And sex is everywhere though in our culture.
Right.
It's in movies, it's all over. So you would think it would be an easy topic for us to talk about. But for some reason, it's a very difficult topic. And I feel like we should start at the school level with children and talking to them about sexual health relations, as far as like, reproductive health and our bodies, because that also is a part of sexual health.
Yeah, I remember as a little boy,
Mm-hmm.
sitting in the classroom, the teacher
Mm-hmm.
walked up. She was like, "Girls, right now you look like this," and she drew
Yeah.
she drew two lines on the board, right? And then she was like, "After puberty, you're gonna look like this," and then she drew like the curvy
Right.
lines, the curvy outline, and she did the same thing for boys.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really remember real sexual education um while I was growing up, and maybe it's just because I forget stuff, but I don't think to my knowledge it's currently in the Caribbean school system as much as it should be. And Kina, you probably have a lot more informed opinions on this than I do.
I do agree that there needs to be much more educational awareness when it comes to sexual health. Now I think they are doing some level of teaching reproductive health, not going in depth. Like you, Kelly, I remember going to school, secondary school, and I think it was Form 1 or Form 2. All I got was about period, where the girls had to excuse themselves from the class and go learn about and all of that.
Really?
Nothing else. Yeah, they would take us out separate, and then you get some free pads and that sort of thing. That was the only thing we got.
So
Apart from little stuff in HFLE class, that was basically it.
so I'm now looking at when I grew up as a child to now, I see a big difference because we were taught sex since middle school. And then we were also taught it in high school. So they were already talking to us about sexual abstinence, STDs, and all of that in middle school and high school. But nowadays, my cousins and them, when I ask them about it, they don't get none of that in school nowadays. There's no sexual education. There's no use, nothing to talk about condom usage or anything like that. So they don't even know even about being comfortable with even the opposite sex, or even to know what women are going through at their age or what girls are going through at their age. So they don't know anything about that. They kind of have to teach themselves.
And that's where the danger comes in, right?
Right.
Teaching themselves.
And I wanted to talk about that. And I feel like, especially for guys and for girls too, because girls do it too, but I feel like that's when pornography comes into play, that they go to look at those avenues, which are unhealthy ways to learn about sex, because they have this expectation.
All right.
And not learning that sex is a thing that you kind of like washing the dishes, you actually learn as you go and you improve as you go. So they're thinking that it's like this, we're supposed to be at this standard, and this is what women want, and this is their desires, not listening, not learning about just healthy sex, sexual desires and stuff like that. So
yeah, So I'm gonna come out of left field a little bit and say, is that really true though? Like, are there really kids out here saying, "Oh, okay, what I'm seeing in pornography, this is what real life is actually like for real, for real."
But they don't know that until they probably get older to think that pornography is actually one of the worst places to learn about sex because it's not reality.
But that
and everybody knows that it's not reality.
That could explain a lot of situations, though. That could explain a lot of situations. Caribbean men. That's where they get to learn about sex.
Exactly. So that's where they think that they know, but they really don't. So
yeah. What situations exactly are you referring to there, Kina?
So I would
Can you refocus on sexual health?
Hey man,
I'm trying to
things, so I'm trying to figure out why our Caribbean men just got attacked just under the belt.
They're not getting attacked.
Well, let's say men in general.
They're not getting attacked.
Men in general.
Yeah, men in general. They get this sort of false advertising, false learning. I don't know what to call it, but they get this. Yeah.
Right.
It's not good. And then they learn from it on.
Right. So I would say a healthy way, especially with girls and boys growing up, is to teach them through books, through videos, like actual educational stuff for them to learn the female anatomy and the male anatomy, and to be comfortable talking to the other sex and knowing that it's okay, and teaching your children the changes that they're going to have. And not making it seem like it's a shameful thing, but something that they should embrace and something that they should be happy to be going through. So I think we should do more education with our young people about sex, because growing up, we had sex abstinence retreats. Although it was sex abstinence retreats, they also did teach us that if you're going to have sex, make sure you're having safe sex, and these are the consequences. But the best effective way to stay away from STDs and pregnancy was abstinence. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
If we're being real, right? Let's be real. How applicable? I don't want to use the word effective. How applicable is abstinence? How, if we were to look at today's society and growing up, even ourselves as example, how easy is it to abstain? So are we? I don't want to sound bad. Well, I don't want to sound too negative, but I honestly would not promote abstinence as much as safe sex, because I'm like, let's face it, they're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it.
It's very difficult for young people to abstain, and that's the reality.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing you're supposed to do. You're supposed to come up with a smile on your face, and you're supposed to say, "Hey guys, abstinence is the right way to protect yourself."
It is.
First, right?
We need to find a more appealing way to present it.
Yeah, but
just stay away from sex.
Right.
So you know how I see proposing abstinence? Imagine, right, that we all lived in a world where tigers were on the streets, right? Just follow me. I'm going somewhere. And you had to teach children to avoid being eaten, right? So to protect the children, instead of telling them, hey, maybe watch out and make sure there's no tigers around when you leave the house, or how about walk around with a shotgun? I don't know. But instead of telling the children something practically effective, you tell them, run as fast as you can. Just run as fast as you can for as long as you can, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree. Hold on to trying to abstain for as long as you can.
Yeah. In reality, you're gonna eventually get caught and eaten.
And I think teaching children sex maturity, though. It comes with, so, and teaching them both sides. I agree with Kina. Teaching them both sides. The abstinence is safer. But if you do choose to go down that route, be prepared for the consequence.
Yeah.
And safe sex is one of them.
All right.
But there is still problems with safe sex. You could still get STDs.
Yes.
Did y'all know that? You could still get STDs even with using a condom. So you could still get, do y'all want me to go all into it?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go all in.
But even with abstinence, you could still get STD.
Yes. Well,
what?
With abstinence.
Hold up.
Needles?
So we're not talking about those that.
Okay, what about needles? Like without.
Well, yes, of course. That's drug use. Yes, you can. Yes.
All right.
But this is not the topic for drug use.
Okay. Yeah.
But sexual, if we're talking about sexual, so if you stay away from sex, I mean, you abstain.
You're safe.
Meaning no penetration, no oral, no nothing going on. You are most likely 100% for sure effective that you're not going to be pregnant and you're not going to get an STD.
Right.
But if you were to use condoms, there's a possibility that you can still contract an HIV. I mean, yeah, you could still contract an STD, not HIV, but you could still contract an STD from it.
And you're about to let us know which ones, I think.
Yes, you can still, okay, so if we're talking about oral sex, you could still contract in your mouth, you could still contract STDs. Did you know that?
Not really.
Go ahead. And you could still contract syphilis, gonorrhea. You could still contract all of that.
In your mouth.
So, yeah, there is.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds
so
gross.
I'm just saying that there is possibilities that you can contract all those things. Well, if you were doing it unsafely, let me put that there too.
So there is safe mouth sex.
Yes, especially because people don't know, but you can catch STDs in your mouth and in your throat. It's very common. So you do have to make sure that you keep yourself safe from those. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was watching, I think I was either listening to a podcast or watching something on YouTube not too long ago that basically said that almost everyone has had or currently has herpes or something like that. I don't know. I might be wrong, guys. Okay. But the expression on Gabrielle's face right now is exactly what my expression was. I was like, wait.
No, it's a very common. If they say very common STD, it's a very common STD.
Okay.
And it's easy to contract because mostly guys don't know that they're carriers of it. So it's easy for them to pass it. So I would see why it's a common one, but that the whole population has it. I think a lot more have it than probably is reported, maybe yes, but I don't know if the whole population have herpes though.
Yeah, so hear me out, because what I thought I saw was them basically saying that people think that herpes is like huge bumps on your mouth or huge bumps on your genitals, but in reality, it's not always so.
No, that's true.
Obvious.
Right. So I was talking about genital herpes. So if you're talking about like cold sores, that's counted as herpes. Most of the population does have. That is a form of herpes as well. If you get sick, and some people break out with a cold sore, that is not genital herpes. That is just herpes. So that's different, but it's still classified as herpes.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a difference between genital herpes and regular herpes. I didn't know there were two. Okay.
It's not an STD. A cold sore is not an STD. It's just an effect of you being sick. And some people, when they stress out, they get it too. So it just depends. But yeah, it is not an STD.
So are they both called herpes because they're
They
both the
are both
same
called,
virus?
yeah, they're both called
They're
herpes.
both classified under herpes.
So HSV1 is genital,
Okay.
and HSV2 is your mouth.
Okay. What if you had HSV2 on your mouth and then performed orally on someone? Would that then?
So then that person would get the same thing you have. But it doesn't mean that they will always get it. But if they did give it to them, then it would be the same as whatever they have. If it's HSV1 or 2 on their lip, because if it's possible, you can have a genital one on your lip. If you were performing on someone and they had genital herpes, then you can get that one on your lip. And if you get what I mean? So whatever you contracted on your lip, if it's HSV1 or 2, and you perform that act, you'll give the same thing to the person.
Okay. All right.
So there's different ones.
Yeah, so I was a little curious about the abstinence camps that you mentioned.
Oh yeah.
It kind of sounds like concentration camps.
That's what I'm thinking. I would like to know. What do they do at those abstinence?
Let's all abstain.
That was.
It's like I'm seeing it as you go through this whole course, and like before you leave, you must promise that you're abstaining or something.
No,
I'm sorry, I'm dying.
It sounded like that, right? But it
Right.
wasn't. It was a weekend getaway with just young people. They called it abstinence weekend or abstinence like a program type of thing. But it was fun. I mean, it taught us. They wanted us to abstain because it was a church group, so they wanted us to abstain. But at the same time, they still told us, "Hey, if you have sex, these are the consequences.
Right.
And if you're gonna have sex, use condoms." But they also wanted us to pair up with, which I still think is important, pair up with kind of someone to keep you, I guess, what's the word I'm looking
accountable?
for? To keep you accountable, accountability partner. So they wanted you to pair up with an accountability partner so that you were actually held to, I guess, the same standard that, working towards both being abstinent and keeping each other accountable. So did it work for some people? Of course, it did. It did.
Okay, all right. Shout out to the
How did the accountability partner thing work? Was the person like with you for that whole weekend getaway?
No, they're with
keeping in check, or like is it after? Is there like a post accountability or that sort of thing?
Yeah. So after is when really the relationship more grew with you and your accountability partner, because both kept talking to each other and talking about what you're going through. And so I know even some who are still each other's accountability partners. So yeah. So it does work. It does work because I still have friends from that group who still believe that abstinence is still something that is important to them. So it does work.
That's good.
It does work.
Right. I had a very big joke the first time I heard you say abstinence camps.
It was a retreat, abstinence retreat.
I was just imagining
that's good.
I'm imagining some guidance counselor, somebody coming up, "Hey kids, let's all abstain together."
No, it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, but hey man, abstinence is, I think, the most effective way to remain safe. And as much as I don't necessarily think it is the most effective form of protection, I still see the benefits there as well. So shout out to that camp. Yeah.
The retreat.
The retreat, yeah.
Gabrielle, since you're so involved in sexual health, what changes have you noticed when it comes to the use of contraceptions?
So, wow. We didn't deal a lot with contraceptives for my clinic. We did more preventative. So we did more preventative STD and HIV prevention. And we didn't do much on the back end for contraceptives. Now, we did do a lot of pregnancy testing to see if people are pregnant. But as far as contraceptives, no. But as a woman in America, I believe contraceptives are important, though, because it prevents us from having unwanted pregnancies. Women today, we're focused on our career. We're focused on our education, and pregnancy is just not something that we want right now. So it puts it on the back burner for us. You know what I mean? And then when we're ready for it, then we can say, okay, it's our choice as to what contraceptives, of course, what works for us. May not, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But,
so since you were more focused on prevention, then let me use the same question to ask: what has the reception been like when it comes to promotion of safe sex and abstinence on the whole?
So you get both. I think we've seen a lot of progress when it comes to people being more accepting or even more open to just health screenings and wanting to know their status. But like I said, we still need to see more progress when it comes to the Black community. A lot of people are just simply scared to know their status. And I think a part of it is just the stigma around it. And I think we need to encourage more people to be like, hey, it's okay. Whether it's good or bad news you're getting, it's okay to find out early so that you could get the treatment that you need in order to get the help you need, rather sooner than later. But I have seen a big change in our community and even the Black community, but I still think that we need to do a lot more work with education. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. For me, because I've gotten tested before, and I'm going to tell you guys, right? It wasn't just the fear of like, oh man, what might be coming back, right? But instead, it was more of also like, y'all better not get this wrong though. Like, make sure you're writing the name on the right sheet. make sure. Yeah, so there's some of that too. Like, I hope y'all don't mess up. Right. So yeah, but yeah, I absolutely agree that both in the American Black community and in the Caribbean that we need to get tested, get screened, know your status. It's important. Let's do it.
I'm definitely passionate about bringing awareness to the Black community and more education because we do need it. I always advise friends and everyone that if you are going to start with a new partner, make sure they get tested. Make sure that's the first thing that you guys do. If y'all are talking about wanting to have sex, make sure you know where that person stands. And if anything comes up, then you can talk about it. And you can make an informed decision. Hey, I know this is what you have, and we're going to talk about it. Or, hey, this is what my results are. Let's talk about it. And let's be more open about, those dialogues about having safe sex as well, too. Because things could happen. Although you use a condom, it'll break. And then you're worried and your peace of mind is gone because you're worried for a straight 3 months because you don't know whether or not you're HIV positive or whether he gave you an STD. So,
yeah.
All right. And I think even beyond the more on the nose healthy protection strategies and stuff, let's just make sure you're not sleeping with somebody you shouldn't be sleeping with. Like if you know very little about the person you're sleeping with, it's probably not a good idea to sleep with that person. You know what I mean? But
now, just about to say, you also need to wait. Because Gabriella was saying get tested should be the first thing when you're about to have sex. But what if the person just had sex, like, let's say, a month before meeting you with somebody else? Maybe it might not show in the results. So you need to also wait and give it some time.
That's why I said 3 months. And I want to be clear with what I'm saying. If you just met someone, get to know each other first. Like, get to know that person because you don't know how many partners they've been with.
Right.
before you. And those are things that you get to know, and you talk with each other and you get to know each other more. And maybe you decide, hey, this is not for me. This is not what I'm looking for. And I think it's important that you wait, because 3 months is when things show up. At least HIV shows up. So getting
so
to, and of course, you know, STD shows up in weeks or in days, sometimes depending. But it's important to wait and get to know each other if you're going to engage in sexual activities.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing I think a lot of people don't think about, especially when they, let's say you meet somebody new, you're really attracted to them, everything feels good, everything looks good. If you sleep with this person, right? And let me actually use an analogy. So let's say I met Denise. Denise, it's a weird name, but I met Denise, and I like her, she likes me, everything's going great. I sleep with her, but Denise has slept with one guy prior to me, just one guy, right? But that one guy had slept with like 3 people before her. So now by sleeping with Denise, I just slept with people, Denise, the guy, and the 3 people. So that's like 5 people, right? And usually those numbers tend to be a lot more magnified than that, right? Because the 3 people that he slept with before her are probably not virgins themselves, right? So when you commit to sleeping with someone, you're opening yourself up to potentially thousands of people. So, yeah.
Yes.
Right. It's a very serious thing. And it's a chain. We're all linked.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not we're all linked, but you know what I mean? Like you and that person are linked, and the people that they've been with as well too. So you have to definitely be careful about who you engage in. Yeah.
Gabrielle, what would you say to, I'm going to target young ladies who really do want to practice safe sex, but as you said, a lot of the Black community, and I would say men, they do not want to get tested. They do not, you know, they not even in general, they don't even want to go to the doctors to get screened or anything. So this young lady wants to practice safe sex, and her partner is just adamant that he wants to, whether go raw or get tested and all of these things. First of all, I know that that probably wouldn't be the person for you. But what if this person remains there? What advice, what could you say to these young ladies?
I would say the most important thing is your self-worth, and setting your standard high, that if that person doesn't respect what you want, then that's not the person for you. And you should never feel pressured into meeting his expectation of you. And I feel like that's where sexual, I would say maturity comes in, that person should say, I love you, I want to keep you safe, so I'm going to also go get tested, and I want to show you my result. That's where you know that that person cares for you enough to make sure that your health is important to them. So my message to women is always, it's your choice to decide what you want. And don't worry about what he's saying. Caddy, you say no?
Let my partner do his thing, you know? Yeah, my girl, you know, just ease up yourself, you know? You have nothing to worry about, you understand? Just relax yourself.
I was about to be like, can I mute Kelly? Can I mute him? We're not promoting this.
That's always the thing. I'm good. You don't have nothing to worry about. Oh, you're good. You're all right.
Yo,
the lie.
Always saying that, right?
And let me tell y'all, ladies, I can tell you as a guy that, you know, we can find a way to make a convincing argument. It's like, yeah, you know, I know. let me tell you how I know I have anything, and then give you a story. Like, yeah, man, that's how I know.
That's
you know,
what they do.
I have no problems. You know, so we need all them tests and things. You know, like, oh, just take it easy. You know.
Right. The words mean nothing until you see the paper with that result.
And you know what annoys me the worst is when I'm talking to someone and they were like, oh, I know he's straight because he just had a baby and the baby's fine, and or the mother is breastfeeding that baby, so she must not have anything.
Wow.
Like, okay, maybe not HIV, but honey, you don't know if he has a history of HPV. You don't know if he has a history of any type of STD. And a lot of women don't share that. You find out later when you go do your pap smear and it comes back that you have something, because the men are just, they're not doing their screenings and they're not getting checked. So you wouldn't know anything, because it's not something that you can just get regular testing for. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I always tell women, if he respects you and he loves you, one, he will wait and want to make sure that y'all are both healthy before y'all engage in any type of activity that y'all both not ready for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me talk to the guys too, though, because I feel like we get in really feminine, you know, and you know. Well, let me tell you, let me talk to the guys directly too, brothers, bros, guys. Let me tell you all something. You see, even if the girl looking nice, you know, she looking well, you know, and you can't even imagine somebody like that having an illness, you know, because she looked like such a princess, such a goddess, you know, bro. She probably has something, you know. Trust me. Yeah, so make sure you get her tested.
Very good.
You know, don't believe her when she tell you, you know, her stories about, yeah, no, I'm good, I'm fine. I never.
And people lie. Women lie about how many partners they've been with.
A lot, yes.
That is a misconception.
No, it's true. It's true. I know too many.
Society wants you to feel like women shouldn't have that many sexual partners. They shouldn't have that many experiences. So, and then you do the same thing when you get into relationships and they ask you, like, how many partners you've had? And you be like, oh, just a few, or you're my only second.
The politically correct answer is
lie. Okay? But yes, to the men, I would say do the same thing. Get to know that woman, get tested together. Not she bringing your results to you or nothing. Y'all get tested together. And it goes for men and women. Get tested together and see each other's results and talk about it.
So, Kiana, let me ask you a quick question, right? Because I just moved back home and I might not know all the things about all the things, right? But if somebody in St. Lucia wanted to get tested and they don't want people in their business, right? Because that's always the real thing. You don't want people in your business. You don't want people seeing you and your woman in this, you know, waiting outside the doctor's office with STD stamped on your foreheads, you know. You want to make sure.
Nobody would know, Kenny.
That's something
There's nobody to know that you're going to get tested. There is no way that anybody can know that you're seeing a doctor to get tested.
Go north or go south, wherever, right?
King, whatever. Nobody.
Me, that's the first thing I see when I see a couple.
And by right, no. And also, you should not be worried because legally doctors are supposed to have this client-doctor privilege, you know.
Yeah.
So they're obligated not to go out and spread your business.
Yeah, but a lot of medical people have broken that confidentiality thing.
Then go to the other side of the island. If you live on the south,
if you don't want them to recognize you at St. Jude, then you go to Owen King. Okay, you go somewhere else. Go to the north. All right. But you have to feel comfortable. And even with me, like I used to think that would become like, oh, go and get this test, and then people thinking you're so active and this and that and this and that. But it's at the end of the day, I just went to do it and it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would say at least do it every year. And and even when you're in a relationship and prior to actually being sexually active, maybe you all did the test, even while you're in the relationship, things happen. And let's say, for example, a condom burst and you're like, okay, you continue. You have to go and get tested. You still have to go and get tested. Men don't trust women. Women don't trust men. Who knows how unfaithful they may be while in the relationship with you. So you still have to get tested.
Exactly. And you don't ever know what your partner is doing. Yep. So, and I'm speaking for everyone. You don't know what the guy is doing. You don't want to know what the woman's doing because we both cheat. Everybody cheating. So you never know what each other.
The fifth.
What you said?
Oh gosh, boy. Oh gosh.
I plead the fifth for women.
She tell you everybody cheating.
I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying both men and women. So no one is better than the other. So
I think men are a lot better though, but hey, you know.
I don't know.
You have hat, Kenny.
I don't know about that, but I think that women definitely and men both need to not just say, oh, I know he won't do that to me, or I know she won't do that to me, but don't take their word for it. And let me tell you how many times it didn't matter if I was married or not. I still wanted to make sure I went and took the test. I knew I wasn't doing anything, and I would hope to how he wasn't doing anything, but it still didn't matter to me, because it mattered that if I rather find out now than finding out later when I'm sick on my deathbed. You know what I mean? So I feel like women, even if you're married, I always tell women, yes, get tested, because I've had clients that have been HIV positive because their husband brought it home or because their wife brought it home. So don't just say my husband can't do it. I think everyone should be getting tested. It should be a yearly thing. Not like a 3-month thing if you're in and out of relationships, but it should be a yearly thing, a part of your screenings to get tested and know what your status is.
Okay, I mean a yearly thing if you are active, right? If
you're husband and wife and you know you're monogamous, it should still be, I think HIV testing should be across the board a test that they always do, because you just never know what your partner is up to. It doesn't mean that you don't trust them. It's just a regular health screening. It's just like if you were to do a mammogram check or...
And I agree with you, yeah.
Exactly. It's just like if you were to do a regular other check for diabetes or high blood pressure. It's the same check. And I think we should all be doing it.
Okay.
Especially if you're married.
Yeah. I want to talk about something really, really saddening and really disgusting as well. There are some people that know their status. They know they're carriers of some particular STD. It may be HIV, it might be gonorrhea, syphilis, something. But they knowingly pass on their STD for selfish reasons. And I'm wondering what happens in the minds of those people.
So people, are you asking me or are you asking Keem?
It's an open question to the
Gabrielle.
floor.
Go ahead.
I mean, those people are being inconsiderate and selfish. And they're not taking that person's health seriously, because what people don't realize is that STDs and HIV does bring down your immune system. And if you already have other health issues going on, that could even make you even more sick. So I feel like that person is definitely being selfish, and they're definitely not, they're not being open to letting you know and having you make a choice on your own health when they pass it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and even especially for people who pass along AIDS or HIV AIDS, especially during the time where that was a death sentence, like people were just dying way more than they are now from HIV and AIDS. What do you guys think should have been like the punishment for somebody like that?
It's still like it's like you're committing murder basically back then when you were a carrier and then you pass it on. And I've been in forums where I've heard young men make statements like if their woman give them HIV, they pass it on because somebody else must take it too. And this is a lot of ignorant statements that get to you when you wonder what is really going through the minds of those people.
Right.
But yeah, even now with treatment and all of that, I still believe that what would have happened back then should still be applicable even with treatment, because you took the person's choice of health away from them.
And that's the big part of it, taking that person's choice away. What if you give them something that's not curable?
All right.
So that person,
like you said, what if they already have a diminished immune system?
Right. And their health is already compromised already. So you don't know what you do to someone when you take that freedom of choice away from them. And it's a kind of it's not rape, but it's a kind of like I didn't ask for this.
All right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's on us to also don't trust your partner just because they say, hey, honey, I'm good. Hey, baby, I'm good. I know I'm good because oh, maybe 2 years ago I got tested, or a year ago I got tested, or I got tested because my woman never told me I had anything. Those are not answers for me.
Yeah.
Those should never be enough for us. So you need the proof.
Yeah. And I don't even know how to say it. I think it's a corruption of what sex is supposed to be when someone is being selfish in the very act of making love to somebody.
Right.
Because it's not supposed, I don't think it's supposed to be a selfish act. I don't think sex is ever supposed to be something where you are looking out for you more than the person that you're being with. And yeah, I think it's a symptom of a world that has corrupted what sex is supposed to be, in my opinion.
Exactly. And it makes you not trust that person again. Once you take that trust away from your partner, it's very hard to get it back. And true intimacy between anybody, true intimacy is when we're both completely honest with each other and we could tell each other anything. And that woman or that man is supposed to be able to feel safe with you. So when that is taken away, that's no longer true intimacy anymore.
All right. And that goes directly back to when we initially introduced the topic of sexual health, you mentioned that there was a mental and spiritual aspect as well.
Right.
Right. And I think, yeah, that directly correlates to that.
That definitely correlates to all of that, especially mental, because, and I know we're going to touch on it later, that sexual health can also affect, mental health can also affect someone's sexual health as well. So there's a lot of issues, if someone's depressed already, and then you go and give them an STD, could you imagine what that would do to them?
All right.
So it would put them darker into darker and darker and darker, like making them feel like there's no hope or there's nothing that they can do to get out of that hole. So we definitely have to be careful about how people do things. If you know you have an STD and you're spreading it, then I would say stop.
All right.
Stop and get the treatment you need. If that's something that you enjoy doing, get the treatment that you need before you spread it like wildfire.
Yeah, stop and tune yourself in. Here's the other thing. I'm trying to put my words together, but there's a lot of misinformation surrounding both male and female sexuality in the Caribbean. What are some steps you guys think we can take to correct that?
I could talk about the Caribbean for me, and I could talk about
what about you, Kina?
I wonder why you targeted the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Just overall. We'd go overall. Yeah.
Focusing on women in particular when it comes to sexuality, I think there's a shame that is usually attached to women. It's like it's okay for men to discuss their sexuality. It's okay for this male prowess to be highlighted. But when it comes to a woman embracing her sexuality, it's like you get antagonized, you get name called, you get the worst looks. Like it's not common, it's taboo. Like, why are you being so sexual? I don't want to use the words here, but we know the context of our St. Lucian slangs. Right. Yeah, you get called the worst names. Mm-hmm. So in terms of that, I think there needs to be, first of all, us women need to be able to embrace our sexuality for ourselves and be confident in it. Regardless of what is being stated, we have to be confident. Right? And it begins with knowing who you are, loving yourself. We overall in society throughout the Caribbean, we need to be able to go up that level of ignorance. Frankly, that is ignorance.
But what does that look like, though?
So I would say it looks like us stop using labels. Let's stop.
Yeah, overall.
hoes, let's stop using slut, let's
Yeah.
stop using those terms, because they want to like, in a way, like tell women that a certain way you're supposed to act, and a
They're
certain
defining how you're supposed to
keep us
be
in
as
a
a
box.
woman. They're putting you in right. They're putting you in this
Right.
box and
They want to
defining
put
you
us
as a woman.
correct.
And
And
it's
there's much more than that.
it's
So
dominant now.
exactly. So and she took the words right out my mouth. That's exactly what I would say. That's why I say it's kind of universal for Caribbean women too, and for American women all over, is that they use labels, and labels are not good to use, because then they not only degrade us when they say things like that, but just because a woman has plenty sex partners, she's labeled as a hoe and other derogatory terms and stuff like that. And I feel like that, to me, it does not make a woman feel good about herself or anything like that. And I believe that it first starts with us believing that we're beautiful and that we are more than all of that, all of those terms.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And even beyond, even not having as many sexual partners, just being embracing that sexuality gets you termed, the who and all of this, because they find you're not supposed to be acting that way. You're
you're not
not
supposed to
supposed
be
to be
enjoying it
all
either.
out there. You're not supposed to be enjoying your sexuality in that manner. So whereas the men are, known as the players, and they're in the group of friends, and they're all hey, and it's like a celebration when a guy has multiple women. For the women, it's not the same. And I think those labels have done a lot of to destroy women.
A lot of damage.
They go into this shell, and they get timid, and it just changes things. And even some of them, then they embrace the title, and then they become a bit reckless.
Right.
They become promiscuous.
Right.
It's like, you're already telling me a hoe, I might as well be a hoe. But
Right.
yeah, it's just not attaching those labels and allowing women to embrace their sexuality.
All right.
Yeah.
I can see all of that, and I'm sure you guys' experience is much more vivid than mine is. On my end, what I find particularly disgusting is how virginity is used to prescribe value. So a lot of people are, a lot of young women I've heard are, very afraid to lose their virginity, because once that is lost, then their value has now diminished, and who they were is now so much more than they are now. And there may be, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a virgin, and of course we spoke about abstinence, but if you've lost your virginity, I don't think your value as a person just diminishes and floats away. So
I see
that,
it differently, though.
go ahead.
I
To
think
me,
it's something to be
me
respected.
being here, I think women who are still considered virgins, especially in Indonesia, from my knowledge, it is respected. The sad thing is, I see a lot of men now wanting to taint this woman and make it a competition or a goal to be the one to get her out of her virginity. But I don't see it as your value being diminished if you're a virgin. I see it as,
No,
after you're a virgin.
I think maybe I was misunderstood. I was basically saying that, painting the picture that a woman who is no longer a virgin is not as valuable than she was when she was a virgin is erroneous, and not a good narrative to push.
Right.
Is that?
I think virginity is
Yes.
something that is very sacred, and I feel like we shouldn't be telling women when is it a right time or when is it a good time for them to give that up, because it is something special. There's not a lot of virgins, and I feel like if a woman chooses to abstain from sex, that's admirable.
Yeah, and I agree.
A lot of self-control, and she's not she a lot of us try to find validation in what men want, so that woman is strong.
Right.
But do you realize how easy it is? Like, we're saying the woman having a virgin is admirable. But Kelly, I'm sure even in your circle, if it were for the man, a man being a virgin, that is frowned upon, right? From what I've seen, it's like, like you still a virgin, gas, and you get called names, right?
Yeah, that's how you get movies like what is it, 40-year-old virgin or
The
30-year-old
40-year-old
virgin?
virgin,
Yeah,
right? Yes.
yeah. So I mean
So we
that's the
also
thing.
should be telling the men to um that's sacred for them as well.
All right. So I hope I was clear. What I was saying is not that virginity in and of itself is not admirable. I'm saying that if a woman does decide to no longer be a virgin, she is not now some sort of she's not used goods, basically. You've heard that term before, right?
So I think that goes back to her upbringing, because once she loses it, she's now feeling what? Shame. She's now
Exactly.
feeling guilty.
Right.
She's now feeling. So it all goes back to the same thing I was talking about in the beginning, is that our parents give us that first education on what sex is. And it's nasty and it's dirty. All of these words that they use, it's shameful and it's embarrassing. So for a woman, after she loses her virginity, I feel like that's where that comes from. Maybe she, you know what I mean? She grew up conservative, so she's meant to think that because she lost it, that she no longer has value. And I don't believe that that's true.
Right.
I believe that
that's exactly what I was saying. Yep.
Right. I don't believe that that's true. I believe that young woman needs to dig deeper into who she is as a woman, and it doesn't devalue you in any way. You're now an adult, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and same thing for guys. Right before we come up against the end of the episode, I want to point out for guys, no longer being a virgin is not some sort of trophy. There's no, you don't need it's not that big of an achievement to. Yeah, this whole thing of like, yeah, boy, yeah, I have to, do something before I hit 22, before I hit 23. Like, you just take your time and take it easy, and you'll get to where you need to be. Yeah.
Can we touch on a little bit of something for the guys?
Yeah.
When it comes to sexual health, a little bit. I don't know if I'm not gonna say it's particularly for the Caribbean, but I'm gonna just say universal issues that I see that men are facing as far as sexual health. We did talk about it, that men are scared to get tested for some reason. Men don't ever, it's not even just sexual health, they just don't want to go to the doctor. They're scared of the doctor. So a lot of times they have things going on with them. And I would say they have like white coat syndrome when they're scared of the doctor for some reason, because they're going to get bad news or something. But I wanted to talk about some issues that men have when it comes to sexual health. Some universal issues. So excessive drinking and smoking can lead to dysfunction as far as like sex problems for them as well. It could lead to erectile dysfunction. It could lead to premature ejaculation, low libido. I don't know if they know that, but it's true. So excessive smoking and drinking can lead to that. And I know Caribbean men do that a lot.
Yeah, we like our beers. We like our, yeah.
Yeah, they like beers. They like liquor, rum. You know what I mean? So on a whole, that could be an issue with them. And as far as like medications and stuff like that, also could be a side effect. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know about the low libido for the drinking and smoking.
Actually,
I was not aware of the low libido part, so that's good.
Smoking can cause low libido. But also low libido can also, which is like a reduced interest in sex, but it also could be just that they're taking medications or that they're doing certain things, lifestyle, overweight, depression. It goes back to mental health. So if your body is not here, like your mind is not here, here is not going to be okay either. So it just all plays in together. So it affects your health. Blood pressure too can affect it. Because I know we talked a little bit about women's health, but also men as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, get enough sleep. Take care of yourself. Don't be
Go
temperate.
see a doctor.
Yes, get tested and don't be scared.
Listen, here's a funny experience for you guys, real quick before we end. All right. I went for a checkup. I think a year or two ago, and as soon as I got into the doctor's office, he was like, "Yeah, I guess your girlfriend told you to come in here, right?"
That's usually what both guys to go. Their wives or their girlfriends.
Yeah,
It is so
was
true.
funny.
It is so true. And I just want to say that HIV and STDs do not discriminate. It doesn't matter what sexual orientation you are. Anyone can catch HIV and STD. And it's for us to practice safe sex. And I do support abstinence as well as an effective way to avoid all of it.
Definitely.
So I'm just going to end with that. I do support abstinence, but I also say that if you're going to have sex, make sure it's safe. And yeah.
All right. Absolutely. This has been a good talk. Thank you, Gabrielle, for joining us.
You're welcome.
And Kiana, do you have anything else to say to the folks?
No, I think Gabrielle ended really well.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll be in here again. Let me give you the dates. We will be in here again on October 11th. So see you guys then.
Yes.
Stay easy. Bye for now.
Bye.